Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Got a gig on the 10th of August, which is actually this coming Saturday. Basically, Saturday's gig is an album launch for Andy Bright, his band Face in the Crowd, and he wanted to re-record all of his tracks. It's been a big project, so I thought it'd be really fun to do a little dive into one of the tracks that we're working on, show you what's what. I've got the project up here in front of me. You can see on the screen here. So I'm using Logic Pro X. So this track is called You're So Far Away. So I thought we'll have a little listen through and then I'll just go through all the bits and pieces that we've got going on within the track. Let's have a little listen and show you what it sounds like.
Talk to me again. Will I wait forever? I cannot pretend. There must be something I can do, some way that I can get to you. Because you're talking, but the words are hard to say. And I need you now. You're so far away. If I could find a reason you might stay, but the nights are long. You're so far away. You're so far away. You offer cold advice.
All right, so that kind of gives us a ballpark reference of the vibe of the song. So Andy started coming in and recording, would have been sort of March time, I want to say. I already had a drum template. So this is Get Good Drums, and this is the modern and massive drum kit that I'm using. What I have in the project is a sort of template to work with. So I'd have a basic drum beat to kind of kick things off to play to, and then I would go back and then reprogram the drums for that part of the song. So what we're hearing now is what I've now sort of since programmed in. But with the basic beat, we would just sort of kick things off, and the first thing we recorded was the rhythm guitars. Andy came in and recorded this one, and what I basically got him to do was play it in again so we could have a left and a right. So I'll just show you that now. This is the first guitar that Andy put down for this song at the very beginning. And I think we recorded this using the Telecaster. So here's the rhythm guitar. So as you can see down here, we've got one pan to the left. I've done this one hard pan left, one hard pan to the right. So this is just being replayed in, and then when you combine them together, get a nice big stereo image. Then we've got this one for the intro. Now, I remember when we put those two guitars down, it was kind of a production call to play it this way. Because basically the opening riff uses like an A sus4 to an A, and then it drops down to a G sus4 with an A in the bass. If that sounds a bit too technical, don't worry. But basically the chords move underneath, but the bass line sticks on the A. So we tried this thing where we hung the A chord over the first part, and then changing to a G chord underneath with that same sort of hang didn't quite fit as well, so we just stuck with the A like power chord underneath this intro. So if we have a listen now to just that rhythm guitar that you heard earlier plus the hanging A5 chord, you'll see how it kind of fits. That's how that kind of worked out with that first part there. All these parts I got Andy to double track. Here's the Rickenbacker. Let's check this out. So we got the rhythm guitar doing the main part, the hanging chord with the overdriven sound, and then we got the Rickenbacker to give it that kind of Beatles come Tom Petty kind of sort of vibe underneath. So if we isolate those, and you'll see them down on the mixer at the bottom of the screen as well. So they're the guitars on the intro, and then we've got, well, electric guitars, sorry, and then we've got the acoustic guitar. Let's check out the acoustic guitar part. So that's following what the main guitar is doing at the start, with more of like a sort of strum along kind of vibe. If we add those back in, you'll notice I've got the acoustic guitars panned hard left and right as well. And then the other two guitar parts we had are not panned quite as hard, so we had those back in as well. So what we're listening to there is the acoustic guitar, the Rickenbacker, which you can hear, it's got that nice bright sort of sound to it, and then we've got the hanging overdriven guitar. On top of that, a guy called Tim Palmer, who was also in the original lineup with Facing the Crowd. He's been recording a lot of the synths and keyboard sort of parts for the tracks, and he sent through this lovely pad. Let's isolate the intro pad and you can see what that's added. You can see it's really, really low in the mix there. If I just boost this a little bit. Really, really lush part there. Now, if I'd left it at that volume, it would have just been like too overpowering. Let's just build this from the ground up. Okay, so we'll start with the drums. So let's add all of the drums back in. Okay, we'll add in the bass. I'm just using MIDI bass on this one. That was a choice that I decided to make. I thought it worked better for the track on this one. So here's the bass and the drums. Came up with that drum idea for the intro at the start there. I didn't have any demo reference for this song, so I didn't hear any original demo recording of this track, so I just kind of sort of went with my gut feeling on the drum part for this one. So that's the drum part and the bass that I've come up with for the start. Let's add in the rhythm guitar. So that's just Andy's original guitar part, my programmed drums that I put for it, and the bass just kicking away at the A. Let's add in the hanging chord. So now we've got that new layer to it. Starting to come together. Okay, let's add the Rickenbacker in. Got a nice chimey part to it now. Okay, let's add the acoustic in. Okay, that's strumming acoustic in far left and right. And now for the icing on the cake, let's add in the synth pad that Tim Palmer sent over to me. You can see how low in the mix that is. I'll play that again and take it out, and you'll see how quickly it sort of takes away that sort of texture. So no pad. Let's put the pad back in. Here we go. It's just there. It's not sort of, it's not overpowering. It's just there to add to the vibe. So that's the intro. So in the verse, let's have a little listen to the verse first of all.
How long will I have to wait till you talk to me again?
So we've got the same rhythm guitar going on. Then we've got the Rickenbacker going alongside that. So it's dropping down a little bit in terms of the guitars. We also had the acoustic guitar running through the first verse, and I decided to take that out as well. It didn't drop down far enough for the verse for my liking, so I took the acoustic guitar out of that part, so it created a little bit more sort of dynamic. We got this awesome keyboard part that Tim sent over. Really, really cool part there. But my favourite bit that he sent over was this little line that he's written for the verse, which you heard it earlier on. Let's just fast forward to that part.
Again.
That lovely little motif that he's just recorded for that part of the verse there. Let's isolate that and check it out. A really lovely melody just to kind of take over from the vocal. It was only on verse 2, I think. I think it was only on this one, but I decided to put it on the first verse as well. I think, from memory, I think that's what it was. I could be wrong, but I definitely remember it only being on one of the verses, and I thought it's too good, so I decided to use it on both verses. Normally, that sort of thing, you perhaps like leave it till the second verse to enhance it a little bit more, but I think yeah, it was just too good not to use, so I used it. That's basically how the verse is, and then we've got Andy's vocal part down here. If we have a little listen to Andy's vocal, and all I've done with his vocal is just basically add a little bit of reverb, compression, and a little bit of stereo delay. Let's have a little listen.
How long will I have to wait till you talk to me again?
We've got a reverb here, there we go. So I've opted for vocal hall reverb, and that's how I've kind of adjusted the settings to suit the main vocal. And then I've just added a little bit of stereo delay. You can see there the output mix on the stereo delay is really, really low. So it just means it's not too overpowering, but just gives a little bit of width to the vocal.
How long will I have to wait till you talk to me again?
So you can just hear like some of the repeats at the end of his phrase there. And that's basically the verses. So we move on to the pre-chorus. Andy actually recorded a tambourine in the pre-chorus, but I felt like it took away the emphasis on the chorus. So I opted to take the tambourine out, so it had a bit more of an impact coming into the chorus part. So again, just a little kind of adjustment I decided to make. So in terms of guitars, we've got the same rhythm guitar going on there, which was the Telecaster. We've still got the Rickenbacker, brought the acoustic guitar back in, so it lifts it in that section. And then we've got this organ part that Tim's recorded. So have a little listen to the keyboard organ. Lovely part. So yeah, combine that all together. So we've got the drum part at the top here, we've got the bass part doing its thing, rhythm guitar, Rickenbacker. I brought the acoustic guitar back in, and then we got that lovely organ. If I mute out the vocals, we can just sort of hear the instrumentation here. Yeah, really, really awesome. If we take that organ out, you notice a massive difference straight away. So it sounds all right, but that organ just sort of gives it that nice bed underneath, that nice texture. So that's the pre-chorus, and then the chorus part. Had a lot of fun recording the chorus part. So we've got a few more layers going on here. We've got tambourine, which Andy played. Let's have a listen to the tambourine. There we go, it's just doing the 16ths all the way through. We've got the rhythm guitar doing this part. So interestingly enough, when Andy played this chorus part in, you can hear he's got quite a sort of, still got that palm muted dynamic, which he kept in the chorus part. So that was quite interesting. So I layered up that with, well, let's go for the layers that he's put down. So he's put down the Rickenbacker alongside that. So there we go, we can hear the rhythm guitar and the Rickenbacker together. Took the acoustic guitar out of that one, and I've put it back in for the next chorus. So again, just something to lift that next chorus. So there's no acoustic guitar in that part, but we've got the organ carrying on here. And then we've got this other organ part, which I believe is a higher part. Let's have a little listen to the other organ part Tim did. So let's listen to those two combined together. So one's like, the purple one is like a little bit lower, and then the blue one is like a sort of higher up octave, I believe. So we build that up bit by bit. We've got the drums. Let's add the bass in. Driving bass. Okay, let's add the rhythm guitars in. So you see what I mean by the palm muted chords he's playing. So I added in these overdriven guitars. Let's check these out. Didn't isolate these earlier, did I? So here's the heavy guitar I put in. So they're the rhythm guitars that I put down. I used the PRS for those rhythm guitars, actually, just to kind of give that chorus a little bit more edge, adding in those sort of big open chords with a slightly heavier tone, adds a little bit more sort of width to it. Combine that with the Rickenbacker and then keyboards. And then we've got the tambourine in with that as well. Now let's have a little look at the vocal parts. So here's Andy's main vocal for the chorus.
Because you're talking, but the words are hard to say.
So we had Sally come in and record vocals on this one. Here was the first thing Sally put down.
Because you're talking.
So that's a little sort of harmony part.
Talking.
Then on top of that, I recorded these two and I tracked these and they're both left and right.
Talking, words are hard to say.
So that was the one of the vocal harmonies I put down with Andy's main vocal. And then I put down this one as well.
Talking, words are hard to say.
Let's listen to the two harmonies I put down there, isolated.
Talking, words are hard to say.
And I've tried to sort of pan these to kind of give them a big sort of like spread, really. Let's add in Sally's vocal and then Andy's main vocal.
You're talking, but the words are hard to say.
There you go. So you can see how it all kind of fits together. So you're hearing Andy's main vocal there. I've got, yeah, my two harmonies and then Sally's part there on top. So here's Andy's vocal on its own.
You're talking, but the words are hard to say.
Add in Sally's vocal.
You're talking.
Got that really nice sort of top part there. First harmony of mine added in.
You're talking, but the words are hard to say.
It just needs that extra layer. So here's the other one.
You're talking, but the words are hard to say.
And there we go. So there's the first part of the chorus. And then I kept the same sort of vibe going on here. So I've got that. I've labelled this up as my low harmony and then my mid harmony. So.
And I need you now. You're so far away.
So that was just mine and Andy's vocal. Let's listen to Sally's vocal on that bit.
You're so far away.
Oh, beautiful. Now, what I did with that one, that was actually just one take. and I never got Sally to double track it. So what I had to do was I had to copy the part and then move it slightly. So you can see there that when you look carefully, these are actually exactly the same parts, but I've shifted one slightly back.
You're so far away.
And then it have helped me to avoid like any phasing issues. Because if you just simply try and copy and paste the exact same audio wave onto another track, you run into like lots of phasing issues and stuff like that. So I just took the same one, moved it a little bit to the right, so it almost gives like a little bit of a almost kind of a slap back delay reverb kind of vibe on it, but it works in the track. So that was what I did with one of them, and then I think I did exactly the same with this one.
You're so far away.
That's right, so I got Sally to put down a different harmony there.
You're so far away.
You're so far away. So I got her to put that one down. I think I doubled that one up actually with one of mine. Let's have a listen.
You're so far.
No, it wasn't that one. It might have been this one actually.
You're so far away.
There we go. So I got Sally to record that line first, and then I just doubled it up with mine. So when I recorded my one, I did 2 takes and then did the whole panning thing.
You're so far away.
And then together,
You're so far away.
just gives that a nice little extra texture. So when we hear the other two in conjunction, so these are all the harmonies for it.
You're so far away.
And then add in Andy's main vocal back into that.
You're so far away.
And that's how I kind of got the chorus. There's a call and response after that. So let's dive down to here, which is this bit.
You're so far away.
I think that was either Sally's or Andy's idea to do that. To have that little response. I'm pretty sure it was Sally's, but I can't remember now. We did so much on this track. Let's bring back the whole band here. So you can see how the chorus has kind of been constructed in terms of vocals.
Kim, but the words are hard to say. And I need you now. You're so far away.
So yeah, that's kind of how the chorus came about. Second half of the chorus, I decided to do an ooh. So here's the first ooh. Brace yourselves. It's also worth pointing out I've not used any auto-tune on any of these tracks, so everything vocally that we're listening to is just all completely raw. It's just got compression, reverb, and then the main vocal just has like that stereo delay. But in terms of tuning, I've not done any auto-tuning on any of these, so these are completely raw. Let's listen to the harmony on top of that. So I've just got those oohs going on in the background for that part. Let's add Andy's vocal back in. Isolate those oohs so you can hear that in context.
If I could find a reason, you might stay. But the nights are long.
There we go. And then at the end, we get all of the harmonies come back in. So we just isolate those again.
If I could find a reason, you might stay. But the nights are long. You're so far away. You're so far away.
And there we go. That's basically how the chorus goes. So yeah, lots of harmonies, some nice layers with the keyboards. And yeah, not using all of the guitars so that then chorus 2 kicks in and has a bit more of an impact. So verse 2 is the same as verse 1. The only thing that's really different about verse 2 is this extra keyboard part, which is this part. Let's have a little listen to the keyboard part. So we got that new keyboard part in conjunction with the other 2 parts as well. So it's just adding that new sort of dimension to it for verse 2. And that's pretty much it for verse 2.
Hey, you offer cold advice, all the things I
So if we compare that to verse 1,
How long will I have to wait till you talk to me?
you can hear a massive difference in the lift compared to verse 2. So verse 2,
Hey, you offer cold advice.
you can hear that higher keyboard synth part sort of taking precedent of verse 2. Didn't feel like it needed like a guitar line to kind of bring up verse 2. That kind of did the job really, so that was really cool. That's why I made a decision to keep that hook halfway through the verses on both verses, because we listen to this one again.
How long will I have to wait till you talk to me again?
Just something there to make verse 1 really cool. Then in verse 2, it's all the same thing, but that extra keyboard part just adds a different layer.
Hey, you offer cold advice, all the things I say.
And then keeping that hook in halfway through just, yeah, really works. So moving on to the second pre-chorus, I've added in the tambourine on this one, which wasn't on the first one, just to try and lift it. And I think the only other thing I've added in on this pre-chorus are just some oohs down the bottom here, just to kind of, yeah, something else to kind of lift it from the first one. So if we listen to the first pre-chorus and do a little comparison, so this is without the tambourine in pre-chorus number 1 and no extra vocals.
There must be something I can do.
And then the next pre-chorus.
There must be something I can find.
So we've got that tambourine kicking all the way through that, and then the oohs at the bottom here. So I just did, let's have a little listen to the oohs real quick. So yeah, really simple. It's just in the background there, just to kind of lift that pre-chorus slightly.
There must be something I can find.
You could almost mistake that as just being like a drone on the keyboard, just doing a couple of notes, which I guess we could have done, but I thought just a vocal just adds a different kind of texture to it anyway, because we've already got the organ in there, which is doing this bit. So that's kind of doing that thing of like the whole droney kind of vibe. So having that vocal part just adds a different texture to it. So chorus number 2, this one is pretty much the same as the first one, but I've added in one of Sally's vocals here. And the other difference is in this chorus is we've got the acoustic guitar, which is this part here. And then the other thing that really lifts this chorus is Sally's other part here. So let's have a little listen to Sally's vocal on the chorus here, which gives it a nice little lift.
Talking.
So that line Sally did there wasn't on the first chorus, so it's just something that helps to lift that chorus alongside the acoustic guitar. So when we hear it all together,
You're talking, but the words are hard to say. And
just a nice little lift there, and then everything else is pretty much as it was before. The next part is the solo section. Not quite finished with this yet, but you can sort of hear where this is going. So only recently recorded some solo ideas here. Let's have a little listen to the solo section so far.
you're so far away.
So in that section, we've just got the rhythm guitars here on the Telecaster. We've got my PRS doing the heavy guitars, which is this part. And we've got the acoustic guitars doing their thing. Quite stripped back. The Rickenbacker kicks out at that point as well. So the great thing with having sort of less instrumentation is it allows more room for the solo part. So if there's a guitar solo or whatever solo there might be, so it's actually left a nice bit of space there for the solo part. I'm still playing around with the ideas for the solo. I've just kind of like come up with like little ideas. You can see it's just like kind of at the minute it's just chopped together just to start gathering some of the ideas really. So So after the solo, we go back into the intro. That's all the same as before. And then we've got a chorus breakdown, which is this section.
You're so far away. You're so far away.
So yeah, drop the drums down there, and then halfway through I build the drums, you'll notice, and the bass comes back in as well. So yeah, I spent quite a long time sort of working on how to sort of bring the drums back in here. I brought the organ back in halfway through to start lifting it. Let's go from here.
You're so far.
So we've got the bass back in, organs back in. Originally, if I jump to this bit at the end here, what Andy had originally put down is this, but coming back in after that breakdown. If I just play this bit. So originally the idea went, you're so far away, straight in here. But what I decided to do was I actually put the chorus back in here. So I actually made a decision to bring the chorus back in, and then we go into what I refer to as like the chorus outro with the you're so far away. So yeah, this was never originally here when we put the original idea down. So I had to do a bit of chopping up here to kind of get this back in. So if we listen to how it kind of comes back in.
Because you're talking.
So yeah, that was never originally, as you can see here, I've done lots of chopping up here. So I put a stop in on the drums. And then in my head, I heard it coming back in with a because you're talking. So I wanted that to kind of take precedent. So I did that, but it still wasn't quite how I wanted it. So what I did was I took, if we listen to the keyboard part again on this intro. Actually, I haven't played that bit yet, have I? So yeah, that intro part there, Tim had recorded for the intro originally, but I didn't put it in there because I didn't think it worked at the very, very beginning of the song. But I thought it was great coming out of the solo. So we'll listen to the intro here. So we've got this arpeggiated part that is now in this intro, which we can hear alongside the original pads that we heard earlier. So yeah, really, really awesome parts. So I decided to take that and put it here in the gap. And if I do this, there we go. We can see the automation I've done here. So we just isolate this part. So I've used that as like a little crescendo to kind of get this bit how I wanted it to sound. So if we listen to the end of this breakdown.
You're so far away because you're talking.
So you can hear that. That's my way of doing the arpeggiated synth. So yeah, you can just hear that sort of building up, bringing that chorus back in.
Because you're talking.
Let's hear that without the arpeggiator, and you'll see what I mean by it's kind of missing something.
Because you're talking.
Oh, and I put the organ in there as well, didn't I? So let's go back up. Where's the organ? There it is. I've done the same thing with the organ as well. So if I just isolate this for a second. So the organ comes back in anyway on the chorus, but yeah, I combined that. If we isolate the organs and the arpeggiator. Now, if we take those out, play it from about here, but without the build up on the organ or the arpeggiator, it's just kind of, for me, it was missing something.
Because you're talking.
So for me, it left too much of a gap. So I started with the organ first.
Because you're talking.
Which is pretty cool. It works. But with the arpeggiator in there as well, the arpeggiator isn't there in the breakdown to start with. So it's a different texture coming in.
Because you're talking.
And that was kind of the icing on the cake there for that little stop. just that arpeggiator coming in with the automation there. And then it goes into the final chorus. This is just everything in on this chorus now. Tambourine, the acoustic guitars are in, yeah, all the guitars pretty much. And yeah, the chorus is the same, and then it goes into the outro. So this is where this is like a production call to put a chorus here and then put the chorus, what I heard as a chorus outro, here instead. And I think it works much better. So we've got all the vocals here at the end.
You change, you're so far.
So all the call and responses there, you're so far away. That's what we had here in this chorus anyway. None of this was actually here on the original idea. The original idea was just to have you're so far away, and that was it. And then I thought, let's add in the call and response vocals down here. So we've got Andy's main vocal here.
You're so far away.
So we've got Sally's harmonies here, layered up a bunch of harmonies here. On their own, some of them might sound like they clash a little bit, but it's just where they're like either like a note or two apart. So you get like a bit of dissonance going on with the harmonies here, but in conjunction with the chords and the song, it works really, really well.
You're so far away.
So yeah, we just experimented with like lots of different harmonies there and stuff. And then Sally came up with this really, really cool idea. Let's isolate Andy's vocal and Sally's vocal.
'Cause you're talking,
You're so far away.
talking.
Yeah, so that was like one take. So what I did here was I separated them out to kind of create this panning effect.
'Cause you're talking.
Such a beautiful part, but to kind of get it sort of sitting in the track where I thought it would work best, the whole panning thing I thought worked really well. So if we isolate all the vocals here, so we've got Andy's main vocal, Sally's harmonies there, and then these are the harmonies that I've just basically copied over from the chorus parts, which is sort of an idea that I thought I'd try out, and it seemed to work really well.
'Cause you're talking.
You're so far away.
With that whole panning thing, it sits a bit better in the mix, I thought. Let's put Andy's vocal back in there.
'Cause you're talking.
You're so far away.
'Cause you're talking.
So the only vocal that's down the center is Andy's main vocal. So having Sally's idea there down the center as well kind of sort of got lost a little bit, but having it spread out kind of worked and kind of create this cool sort of panning effect. So now back in with the music.
Because you're talking so far away.
Now, some might say, oh, I can't really hear it that well. The problem is if you start bringing that up, then things just start to fight a little bit. So it's all about just sort of getting a balance. And if you listen really carefully, especially if you're listening in headphones, you can hear the back and forth with Sally's idea there. And then at the very end of that chorus, I just dropped all the instrumentation out. I think the original idea was perhaps to either have a fade out. That's probably why I've put a chorus fade there, actually. I think Andy originally wanted a fade. Or we could have gone back into this intro and used this intro as a finishing part. And we've done that on quite a lot of the other songs where the intro has kind of been a feature at the start, in the middle, and at the end. But for this one, this is where I decided to do something different. And rather than just going back into that intro as kind of like the cliche, I decided to use the vocals as an ending to the song.
You change, you're so far away. You changed.
And there we go. I'm doing all of this sort of production on all of the other songs, and that's why it's been such a big project. When the initial idea comes in with just Andy's guitar part and then a few other guitars as well, in all fairness, and then like the vocal part, and then it's adding all of the other stuff in on top of it. So programming the drums. On some of the tracks, we've got Andy Whiteley's bass. I've got Andy's bass on this one as well, but I've opted to use the MIDI bass. It just for this particular track, it just seemed to work better for the vibe. So we've got Andy's bass on some of the other tracks. So yeah, there we go. So it's a bit of a deep dive into one of Andy's album tracks. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to give a like and subscribe on the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment below and let me know if that was useful, interesting, or if you found some of it, you know, fun to watch, and be well up for doing some more sort of deep dives. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.